think I'll cross and take my mans out, just kill yourself. In the trenches, 40 on my hip, I had to fix my belt.
What's these dudes? You know what I'm saying? But kind of we back in the video. You know what I'm saying? Today, y'all, we got a long one in this, bro. I'm not gonna lie, bro. 49 minutes. Cristiano Ronaldo ascended to greatness, bro. I seen this a couple times in the comments. So y'all, we finna get straight into this. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, comment on the video. You got to put, you know what I'm saying? Push the post notification bell when we drop, bro, because we drop every day. So you'll be notified in this, bro. But merch on the way too, bro. So yeah, we got a lot of stuff on, and 10K on the way. Let's get this, bro.
With a huge talent and big ambitions, that's how Cristiano Ronaldo started his career, similar to many other players. But talent alone is never enough. It must be accompanied by several other key factors: hard work, strong will, self-confidence, and a strong personality. This is the story of Cristiano's beginnings and how he got to the pinnacle of football. In the islands of Madeira, and in particular the capital Funchal, Cristiano took his first steps towards a footballing career. He focused very early on football, instead of studying at school. And because of his family's relatively poor background, his mother agreed on his decision to focus on his dreams, which reflects to some extent their economic situation at that time. Cristiano played for his local amateur club Andorinha from 1992 to 1995, as his father was working as a kitman at the club. News about a young Cristiano got to the youth coach of Nacional, who was incidentally Fernando Sousa, Ronaldo's godfather. Fernando played a big role in Cristiano's early career decisions, especially with the absence of his father Dennis in many occasions as he drank away his sorrows. And despite the attempts of the biggest club in Madeira, Martimeu, in bringing Ronaldo, Nacional appealed more for Cristiano, as they eventually completed the deal. 2 sets of kits and 20 footballs was the sealer to get Cristiano, who was only 10 years old. At Nacional, Cristiano had his first taste of a real football academy, and the coaches at Nacional were worried because of Cristiano's undernourishment that may slow down his development, and asked his mother to supply his diet with plenty of fish and meat. But in all cases, the talent was there, and whereas a typical kid at his age would train for 2 hours a day, Cristiano used to train with the ball between 10 to 12 hours daily. Because he had no school.
Oh my God, 10, that's the whole day. 10 to 12 hours?
That's the whole day, non-stop work.
Oh yeah, he was gonna go to the league. He was
Work and no house chores to worry about. And within a couple of years, Cristiano became too big for the island. His next step was a matter of time. Cristiano's godfather played a big role again, as he mentioned Ronaldo's name to João de Freitas, who was the president of the Sporting fan club in Madeira. De Freitas had good connections with Sporting Lisbon personnel, mainly Aurelio Pereira, who was the lead scout. He was responsible for bringing talents like Futre, Figo, Quaresma, Nani, and Moutinho to Sporting. At that time, the process of scouting was very simple and based on intuition. That's why Pereira gave Cristiano the chance to trial for a week at Sporting's academy. Nacional had a debt to settle with Sporting Lisbon related to an old transfer, which amounted to 25,000 euros, and they were struggling to pay it. So they thought of offering Cristiano in an attempt to cover this debt. Obviously, the price was pretty high to bring in a 12-year-old academy player, but Pereira managed to convince the board, as Cristiano flew out of Madeira for the first time in his life and landed in Lisbon alone. What caught the Sporting coaches' eyes, and in particular Aurelio, was Cristiano's personality. There was no doubt about the talent, but the coaches thought his personality attributes were eye-opening. After the trial, Aurelio agreed on Cristiano's permanent stay in the summer of '97, as he officially became part of Sporting's academy.
Yeah. But 12 is making me bug up. Like,
Cristiano faced huge difficulties in Sporting's academy. The accent in the capital was very different than in Madeira, and there was no age group that fits Cristiano's age, so he had to join an age group older than him by 2 whole years. And he basically lived far away from his family for a long period. It was easy for Cristiano to give in and go back to Madeira, and he was close to doing just that, especially in the beginning of his period. But he stayed in the capital Lisbon to achieve his dreams. And despite his huge focus in training and his competitive spirit, Cristiano faced many issues off the field, and especially in his academic studies, which were mandatory for each academy player. And Cristiano faced another issue, as it was discovered that he had a racing heart and had to go under the knife and do surgery in the year 2000. He took some time off and came back to training 3 months later. At Sporting, the coaches tried to make Cristiano understand that the ball was not his. He had to transform from an individual to a team player. And as time had passed, Cristiano developed a lot, as Sporting rewarded him with his first professional contract in April of 2001, and with the help of the most famous Portuguese agent at that time, José Veiga. The contract was for 4 years and with a monthly salary of 2,000 euros. Ronaldo, at 16 years of age, had a release clause that amounted to a hefty 20 million euros. In the beginning of the 2001-2002 season, Cristiano was financially capable of getting his mother to move to Lisbon, and as his family was closer, Cristiano managed to get ever so close to first-team football at Sporting, as he was called up to train with the first team by the Romanian manager Laszlo Bologna. After several training sessions, Bologna wrote up a report on Ronaldo. The negatives: weak aerial ability, uses weak technique, defensively weak, physically weak, doesn't have tactical awareness as an individual nor as a team player, very selfish, and lacks composure and focus. But after months and months of training, Cristiano managed to settle in with the first team in the training sessions. But Bologna still thought it was not the right time for him to play in official matches, as Cristiano was still showing off some tricks that had no place in actual matches, let alone in training sessions, and Bologna even threatened not to call up Ronaldo if he didn't stop. Sporting successfully won the league, the cup, and the Super Cup that season, as the manager Bologna successfully managed to integrate youngsters like Quaresma and Viana within the starting lineup, but Ronaldo was still waiting for his chance.
wait,
As the Viana
wait. Is that Ricardo Charisma? I'm pretty sure that's
I think that
Ricardo
is.
Charisma, though.
Yeah.
Because it does like him without all the tats and shit. He changed his
within
hair.
the starting lineup, but Ronaldo was still waiting for his chance. As the season had closed its curtains, a Portuguese agent called Jorge Mendes entered into the fray. Mendes planned to pick up 3 Sporting Academy players, whom were Quaresma, Viana, and Ronaldo, all of whom were represented by José Veiga. Mendes sat with these players and promised them that he'll find big clubs that are interested in their talents, and that will help them earn no less than €1 million in a flash. And after Mendes successfully got Cristiano on board, he sat down with him and his mother to convince her of his ambitions. So in September of 2002, Cristiano terminated his contract with Veiga, and thus Mendes was now his agent. In the following season, Sporting's main striker Mario Jardel had intentions of leaving in the following season. So Bologna had to find another attacker, either down the middle or on the wings. Director of football Carlos Freitas informed the manager that there was no budget to acquire a new player, and thus proposed to him to use Cristiano. Bologna agreed with that suggestion, as the Romanian manager believed that the teenager improved immensely in the last couple of years. In the academy, Cristiano played either as a central striker or a second striker, but Bologna decided to use him as a tricky winger. And before the season had started, Bologna hyped up the press. This young man will be better than Eusebio and Figo. The teenager managed to score his first goal as a professional in a friendly against Real Betis, as the graphics wrote the young man's name on the screen, Custodio Ronaldo. Then he made his professional debut against Inter Milan in the Champions League qualifiers, which Sporting ended up losing. He scored his first official goal in the league against Moreirense in October and entered in the dying minutes against Boavista and managed to score the winning goal.
Ronaldo, Cristiano. You can name for yourself then.
A very promising start, but Cristiano Ronaldo didn't start matches consistently, which was normal for a teenager only 17 years of age. But actually it was enough to attract the attention of several European clubs, and Sporting hadn't won a single title that season, so the manager Baroni was fired. At the end of the season, Mendes warned Sporting that if Cristiano was not a starter next year, there was a big chance he would leave for another club. And Jorge Mendes was very active that year, as he lined up several offers for Cristiano. And the Portuguese teenager said after the Toulon tournament that he was pleased to receive the attention of many important clubs, and he dreams of playing in Spain or England. Now let's look at who were the real candidates to sign Cristiano in the summer of 2003. First were Valencia. Paco Roig, one of the presidential candidates prior to the elections, had agreed with Mendes to sign both Cristiano and Quaresma if he won the presidency, 9 million euros for both of them. Liverpool and their manager Gerard Houllier were interested in the player as they offered 8 million euros, as Cristiano reacted to the offer and said, one of the best clubs in Europe. It would be a dream to play for a club that represents so much tradition. Luis Suarez, Inter legend and Morati's consultant at that time, was interested
Luis Suarez, I'm confused now. Isn't that the football player? He literally plays.
Nah, him probably, that's probably his dad or something.
Oh God, what the fuck? Bruh. No, it's okay. I don't know. I keep recording.
As he saw him in action in the previous season and said to Morati, we have to sign him. He'll be one of the best players in the world. Morati was not convinced, especially when he knew that Cristiano was only a 16-year-old kid, as Inter were one of the biggest spenders in the Mercato in that period, but didn't make an official offer. Juventus stepped up their efforts to sign the young Portuguese, but their Chilean striker Marcelo Salas refused to go to Sporting in a trade deal. Italian darlings Parma offered 8 million euros for the player. The head of Real Madrid's academy, Ramon Martinez, met with Sporting to inquire about Ronaldo. Barcelona was interested in Jorge Mendes' clients, whom were Quaresma, Thiago, Deco, and Ronaldo. But they pushed to sign Quaresma and offered a preferential contract for Cristiano, but eventually it amounted to nothing. The club that made the most advanced talks with Cristiano was the Gunners. As Jorge Mendes said recently, there was a time when I really thought he was going to Arsenal. Before the summer, particularly in January of 2003, Cristiano and his mother flew to London to visit Arsenal's training facility and sat with both Arsene Wenger and his football idol Thierry Henry. In Ronaldo's biography, the author Guillaume Balaguer mentioned that Cristiano fell in love with the club and what they offered in terms of footballing philosophy and the care.
I think that was Thierry Henry. I'm pretty sure it was.
Go back real quick. Let's see how you pronounce that, man.
Henry. In Ronaldo's biography, both Arsene Wenger and his football idol Thierry Henry. In Ronaldo's biography, the author Guillaume Balaguer mentioned that Cristiano fell in love with the club and what they offered in terms of footballing philosophy and the care in which young players are treated. Arsenal agreed on all terms with Sporting, and there was a concrete agreement between both clubs. Arsene Wenger even kept the number 9 shirt for Cristiano. But when Vice President David Dein went to Lisbon to seal the deal, he offered an initial offer that was too low for Sporting. Arsenal had some financial restrictions, of course, with the construction of the new Emirates Stadium. But there was another English club who succeeded in the negotiations. Everybody seems to think that Cristiano transferred to Manchester United because of his performance against the Red Devils in a friendly match on August of 2003. But there was a lot of planning from United prior to that. In the 2002-2003 season, Ferguson's assistant at that time, the Portuguese Carlos Queiroz, received some reports on Cristiano, and he instantly knew that the club had to act quickly. I didn't take on any responsibilities in terms of recruiting young players, but I informed Alex about Cristiano. Management was hesitant on Cristiano, but Queiroz had a brilliant idea. Carlos Queiroz was Sporting Lisbon's manager from the year 94 to 96, and he had several good connections at the club. So he managed to agree on a special agreement with Sporting to exchange methodologies and ideas between the two clubs, which would in essence make certain deals in the future much easier. And because of this deal, Ferguson managed to send Jim Ryan, the second team coach at United, to watch training sessions at Sporting Lisbon's facilities. I've seen a player. I think he's a winger, but he's playing as a central striker with the youth team. I wouldn't wait long to declare our interest. There will be other clubs after him. Ferguson suggested the idea of signing Cristiano to Sporting's management, but with the condition of keeping him on loan at Lisbon for a year. It was a similar condition suggested by many other clubs. At the end of the season, and because of the special agreement between Sporting Lisbon and Manchester United, the Portuguese side suggested booking a friendly between the two sides to celebrate the opening of their new Estadio José Alvalade. The match was booked for the 6th of August 2003. A day before the friendly, Jorge Mendes met with Sir Alex for the first time. United's interest for Cristiano was obvious. In that same summer, Beckham left for Madrid, Veron left for Chelsea, and Ronaldinho turned down United's offer and went to Barcelona. So now let's see what's on the table.
Ronaldinho went with Cristiano Ronaldo. I probably would have bugged up even more.
I would have bugged up.
Because he was already with Messi. That's good enough.
Ronaldo should have went to Barcelona.
Chill out, dog.
Sporting knew that Ronaldo and Mendes were not interested in renewing their deal with the club, despite the new manager Fernando Santos pledging to play Cristiano as a starter. Ferguson and United wanted to inject some new blood into the team, and Cristiano filled that bill. Mendes knew that sealing this deal would catapult him to the forefront of all football deals. So the deal made sense for each side, and the only thing missing was the figure. But Ferguson knew that United can outbid any other club, and Cristiano knew that the deal was agreed before the booked friendly, as he entered the match to show Manchester United what they were getting.
Twisted turn by Ronaldo. Look at that lovely little trick that he has. Here's Ronaldo. Ronaldo to swing one. Shea couldn't get near him. Ronaldo again. He's done it for 85 minutes. Unbelievably quick feet. He's going to be a superstar. Tonight has shown us exactly what he can do.
It was the first time Sir Alex got a glimpse of Cristiano live, as he talked about that night recently and said, a revelation, the biggest surge of excitement and anticipation I experienced in football management. After the match, Ferguson realized that the deal had to be done immediately, as the director of football Freitas said that United decided to pay more than the agreed fee to ensure they got the player immediately instead of staying for a year on loan at Sporting. They ended up paying a final price of £12.2 million for a 5-year contract, as Cristiano's yearly salary went from €24,000 to €2 million. And Ferguson promised Mendes that Ronaldo would play in half of the matches next season at least. And when he got to the club, Cristiano asked for the number 28, but Ferguson gave him the responsibility of wearing the number 7 shirt at United, the legendary number worn by United legends like George Best, Steve Coppell, Brian Robson, Eric Cantona, and David Beckham. A huge transformation in Cristiano's life. So will he deliver or not?
I ain't know David Beckham was a Manchester United.
Within that period, United were 4-time league champions in the last 5 years, but Ferguson thought that the team needed a bit of youthful energy, and that's one of the factors that made Sir Alex succeed for a long time. He made changes while his teams were at the top. 4 days after Cristiano was introduced to the media, he was given his debut when the excitement in the stands was palpable. Cristiano managed to win a penalty for the team and was voted the player of the match. 4 days later, Luis Scolari gave Cristiano his national team debut with Portugal as well. Despite Cristiano's promising start, his teammates were not convinced of his play style on the field, and as weeks and months had passed, their convictions were being reflected on the pitch. After a few matches, defenders around the league started to give Cristiano a tough and physical treatment. The teenager's reaction was negative, as he dived and flopped around the pitch a lot. Slowly but surely, he earned a reputation that would destroy the career of any young player. He wanted to show off instead of trying to integrate with the team. The talent was there, but he had to drastically change his playstyle. Let's watch some bad and good examples from Cristiano's first season with United. A speculative shot from distance as United were losing while ignoring other options. Great pace but weak physical strength as the defender pushes him out. A great free kick with a different technique than the one he uses today. Great bit of skill to escape Chelsea's press. And in the last clip, we see a great bit of skill to escape Arsenal's pressure, but is followed by a poor pass forward.
Backside, a very encouraging contribution there.
United had a completely different philosophy, but Ferguson treated the teenager just like he treated Cantona
I
in
feel
the
like
past.
he was just more kind of flashy when Manchester United when he was on that bitch though. He was trying to get some hoes because he just started playing this shit.
Different from the other players. Although he was hard on him sometimes, Fergie knew that despite his lack of tactical awareness and teamwork, Cristiano had the right mindset for any professional. As Roy Keane had said, he was immediately one of the hardest working players at United. In all cases, Cristiano's first season was tough. His first goal came in November through a free kick against Portsmouth.
Cristiano Ronaldo's first goal for United.
And all the way to January, he managed to participate in 19 matches, starting in 11. But United were in a transitional period that season, as they crashed out of the round of 16 of the Champions League against Porto and Mourinho. In the league, United ended the season in third position, behind an improved Chelsea side and Arsenal, who remained unbeaten throughout the season. United got all the way to the FA Cup final as they faced Millwall from the Championship. Ferguson decided to use Cristiano from the start to give him a taste of competing for a trophy. The struggles of the season were behind him, as he looked much better. It could be one of his most important matches in his career, as he was just outstanding.
Wonderful stop from the Portuguese international.
And scored a goal.
Back across, Ronaldo!
As United won the match handsomely by 3-0.
It's United's year for the FA Cup again.
Well, you better raise that with some more emotion.
Luis Scolari gave Cristiano some national team caps before the Euros, which were held in Portugal that summer. And Cristiano successfully joined Scolari's final squad for the summer tournament and became the 6th youngest player in the competition's history. He arrived at the training camp full of confidence, as Scolari said that he's a good kid, but someone must have told him he's the best in the world. And if he thinks he is, it will be very hard to work with him. In the group stages, Cristiano was gaining more minutes as the tournament progressed. In the opener against Greece, Cristiano entered in the second half and gave away a penalty, and then scored a goal, but Portugal eventually lost. And following an assist in the win against Russia, Cristiano started the crucial match against Spain as Portugal won, and Cristiano was named man of the match. He started the quarter-final match against England as Portugal won through penalties, and then assisted and scored in the win against the Netherlands in the semi-finals, and managed to be in the starting lineup in the final against Greece, as Cristiano became the youngest player ever to do so in the competition's history. But the match ended just like the opener of the tournament, as Greece won against all odds. Cristiano missed a huge chance and was very upset after the loss. Cristiano came back to United a different person. As the assistant Mike Phelan had mentioned, he came back a man. His body shape was different, his facial features were different as well, and we just thought that's an athletic physique for the British game. Physically, he was different, but his performances remained inconsistent, and that started to wane on his partner on the right, Gary Neville, who questioned the Portuguese's defensive duties. Do you live with him for another 12 months, where this player is doing okay, but not scoring 25 goals, where he can turn off and not do the defending? And when we watch some examples within the season, we noticed that Cristiano was still adamant on showing off his new skills and was taking several wrong decisions in most of the matches. But I noticed he's slightly improved in several different things. He started passing progressively without delay. He now has a rocket of a shot.
He's gone for goal, and what a goal!
And on his weak foot as well.
And a shot, oh, the crossbar saves Bolton!
His physical endurance started to last the whole match, and he started to successfully overcome the defenders' challenges.
You ran fast as fuck.
The improvement was obvious, but he was still 1 or 2 years away from delivering on a very high level. And despite the return of the assistant Carlos Queiroz and the signing of Golden Boy Wayne Rooney, United was still far away from competing, especially with the arrival of Jose at Chelsea and the huge spending that happened there. As the story of last year was repeated, and United ended the season in third position, 18 points away from the champions Chelsea. That was followed by an early exit in Europe against
they go off by points.
Yeah, the points scored. I know you go by one. And every game is a home game and a away game.
So damn.
So
oh my God.
I remember. So if you score 5, you score 1 in the next game, you got 6 points.
So, damn. So how many? Damn. Oh my God. So
they was getting fucking
95.
It's away from the champions Chelsea. That was followed by an early exit in Europe against Milan in the round of 16 of the Champions League, which was a tough match for Cristiano.
Watch out.
But the team managed to get to the FA Cup final again. This time United faced Arsenal in the final, the team that was defeated both home and away at the hands of the Red Devils. The team which Cristiano Ronaldo scored the brace against and showed snippets of his goal-scoring attributes.
To Ronaldo, chance Manchester United, goal! Manchester United, Cristiano Ronaldo squares it up again.
In the FA Cup final, Cristiano delivered a great performance again, just like he did last year. But this time it was against a big team, as he was one step faster than Arsenal's solid right-back Lauren, as Cristiano was playing on the left this time. And because of that, he was the #1 victim of some rash tackles throughout the match.
Frustration just there than anything else. He just couldn't let him
Damn,
through
come
there.
on, dog.
But the final had to be settled through penalties, and whereas Cristiano successfully converted his penalty, United failed to retain the cup and ended the season without a title.
Ending the season
Oh, come on, he sold
without
that
a
shit.
trophy.
When we see Cristiano's
hard.
numbers for the season, we notice his great performances within the FA Cup. But despite some marginal improvements in terms of goals and assists, Cristiano was yet to be one of the team's most important players. Cristiano's performances during the last half of last season pointed to a great third season for the young Portuguese. But what actually happened on the field was a dip in form and inconsistent performances. And there were some questions about how to use him correctly to get the best out of his attributes. Although Ferguson didn't think he'll convert to a clinical striker, Carlos Queiroz had another opinion. Over time, and when he's 28 years of age or even 29 years of age, I'm sure that Cristiano will convert into a pure striker. But away from how to play Ronaldo correctly on the field, the young man received the tragic news of the passing of his father on September of 2005. And his mother said Cristiano's father drank until his death, and that destroyed Ronaldo. Drugs and alcohol were a mainstay in Madeira's hoods, and as Cristiano succeeded in helping his brother Hugo, whom was saved from drug abuse, he failed to save his father, who refused any kind of help from everybody. These personal issues made a mark on Cristiano that season, as he was sent off for a dangerous challenge and made an obscene gesture aimed at the Benfica fans, and was arrested after being accused of sexual assault. His insistence on showing off his skills and fancy tricks and laying the crosses started to affect his relationship with the main striker of the team, Ruud van Nistelrooy. The Dutch striker's main currency are goals, of course, and he went from Beckham's fast and pinpoint crosses to a young player who preferred to use his skills to take on players. Van Nistelrooy's numbers took a huge hit, from scoring 44 goals in the 2002-2003 season to 16 goals in the previous season. Injuries were also a factor as well. The relationship between the Portuguese and the Dutchman got very complicated during the season, and the rest of the squad stood in Van Nistelrooy's camp, as they thought that Cristiano's settling period took a very long time. Gary Neville also had his doubts, as he said, "I questioned Ronaldo's performance in his mid-third year. I was getting to the point where I wondered whether he could actually be a top player." Let's watch some clips from that season. I watched a huge amount of fantastic skills in that season, which may confirm Van Nistelrooy's impatience as he waited a long time for the cross in each match. Most of Cristiano's take-ons were successful, but it may not be the right decision on the field.
Here goes old Twinkle Toes again.
There are several examples that point to his physical development, and other examples that point to his great ability in counter-attacks.
Ronaldo.
Ah, he's so fast.
We saw that season, and for the first time, Cristiano successfully scoring a free kick with the same knuckleball technique that he uses today.
Ronaldo, that's better. That's a whole lot better. It's an absolute belter.
He also managed to score his first European goal in the Champions League qualifiers.
Cristiano Ronaldo scores his first ever European goal.
But for the third year in a row,
crazy.
United were struggling as they crashed out of the Champions League from the group stages in a group that contained Villarreal, Benfica, and Lille. It was the same story in the league again, as Chelsea ran away and lifted the Premier League with an 8-point gap from United.
Okay, they're going up
And
in the
after an
rankings.
early exit from the FA Cup,
After me.
they only had one chance to lift a title in the League Cup final against Wigan. The strange thing that happened in the match was Ferguson deciding not to select Van Nistelrooy, rather selecting Saha, Ronaldo, and Rooney in the starting lineup. Rooney scored a brace, Saha scored one, and Ronaldo added another, as United beat Wigan handsomely in the final.
Nobody had
Nigga like me, like me. I'm more
These are
cockier
Cristiano's
now.
numbers for
Watch
the
out.
season. It doesn't seem like he went up a level as expected, but there are some slight improvements in terms of goals. It was a year of development as Ferguson saw
Scored more
it,
goals
but the
last time.
fans
I
were
mean,
not sure
no.
as they saw Chelsea's continued spending spree as Shevchenko,
I scored 267 goals in 3 games.
Kalou, Balak, and Ashley Cole
Sit back and watch the video! Great!
joined in the summer of 2006,
Imagine being
while
free,
United
everybody else
decided
is
to sell
million.
Van Nistelrooy to
Fuck.
Real Madrid, and Roy Keane left for Celtic in November of last season after some issues with the manager, and then came Michael Carrick from Spurs. It was a tough summer for United, but Ferguson was confident despite failing in the league for 3 consecutive seasons. The young core he possessed
Yeah, he finna
had
get
to step
fired,
up
man.
You didn't
quickly.
smack him and shit like that.
Wait, so the
Cristiano joined the Portugal squad
Really
for the
halfway
World
through
Cup
it?
and
Yeah.
played in 2 matches in the group stages and scored a goal against the Iranian national team.
And the boy from Madeira.
In the round of 16, Cristiano was one of the victims of the Battle of Nuremberg against the Dutch and was subbed because of injury. Initially,
shit.
there was
He
some
got
fear
injured,
that
boy.
Cristiano would not play against England in the quarterfinals,
He looked
but
so
he
hurt.
recovered quickly and was a starter in this crucial match. After an eventless hour, there was a physical battle for the ball between
Damn,
Rooney
up.
and both Petit
Free
and
get to step
Carvalho.
with that nigga like
And then
that.
came
He
Ronaldo to
stepped
ask
on
for
him.
the ball between Rooney
Oh,
and
shit.
Carvalho.
Come on, Dad.
And then came
Nah,
Ronaldo
nah.
to ask for his English
Nah.
colleague to get sent off.
Tempers are flaring on the pitch.
After
Isn't that
Rooney's
teammate?
sending off, the cameras caught Ronaldo winking to the
Tatum
Portugal
looking at
bench.
nigga.
The match eventually went to penalties, as Portugal's keeper Ricardo successfully saved 3 attempts.
Carragher.
Oh, you clutch!
As Cristiano scored the
You like
match-deciding penalty,
Portugal are World Cup semi-finalists.
Portugal managed to pass this test.
Wait, am I
Fans
dreaming
and
right now? Was this nigga not just injured?
The English media would not be silent. They wanted a scapegoat for their exit,
Guess
and the
you
easiest
right.
victim was Cristiano, especially after the wink. Cristiano talked about the wink and said that it was a reaction after receiving some instructions from the coaching staff to push forward and make most of the numerical advantage. But the truth didn't matter for the media. Cristiano was now the #1 villain in England. After the match, Ronaldo, Ferdinand, and Rooney discussed the matter. The issue was instantly behind them, but Rooney warned Cristiano that this will be a big thing for the English fans, and the press will talk and dissect the issue all throughout the summer. Portugal lost the following match against France, and Cristiano was voted as the 3rd best young player of the tournament. Following the World Cup, and after seeing the loud response of the English media, Cristiano seriously considered not returning to Manchester. And this thought came despite the constant communication between teammates Rooney and Ronaldo.
Yes, he made him
Cristiano
leave,
asked
sure.
Mendes about the idea of leaving, but Mendes advised him to go back to Manchester. In the end, Ferguson sat with both Mendes and Cristiano at Carlos Queiroz' house and talked about how Beckham went through the same animosity in '98. You're one of the bravest players to come to Manchester, but walking away isn't courage. After a few days, Cristiano talked to the press. There is no reason for me to leave a club that has always supported me. Everything will be decided next week. It was clear that Cristiano was staying at that point, and he was ready for the challenge. He tackled the issue in the best possible way. Finally, Cristiano has arrived.
Alright, y'all, we back in this bed.
Early summer training sessions, Ferguson sat with the captain Gary Neville, Rooney, and Ronaldo. He instantly felt that the team was united. And on top of that, Sir Alex managed to create the feeling that the entire world was against Manchester United. The opening match of the Premier League against Fulham had the greatest media attention of the weekend. Each step, gesture and reaction from both Rooney and Cristiano was analysed. The media painted the false picture that Rooney and Ronaldo were not getting along. The transfer window was still open, so they thought that a bad start to the season may push the Portuguese into leaving. But the reality was far from it, as United took Fulham apart.
Oh my God, that was a crazy goal, boy.
Manchester United for Ronaldo! Rooney provider. Ronaldo the finisher.
Away matches in the league were a totally different story, as the boos and insults accompanied each touch on the ball from Cristiano.
He's an attacking player and he's well forward, not for the first time this evening. Ronaldo may be encouraged by the crowd's reaction to have a go, but he's working on Ronaldo right.
Although Ronaldo didn't contribute in this match in terms of goals and assists, what made this season different was that he still made the correct plays to ensure United won, whereas in the past, he would be somewhat ineffectual if he didn't score. The media quickly shifted their attention to the exciting race for the title between United and Chelsea, as United started the season strongly. As Gary Neville had said, the start of that season was the most enjoyable 6 months I've seen at United. Several players were performing at a high level that year, like Saha, Giggs, Rooney, Scholes and Ronaldo. After the end of the first half of the season, United were league leaders with 15 wins after 19 matches. But Chelsea were not giving up easily. In that season, Cristiano managed to bring all his attributes together to deliver meaningful and winning football. Less artistry and more effectiveness. The technique.
Great little ball from Cristiano Ronaldo. Lovely touching it.
He buying animations.
Ronaldo.
What the hell?
The speed.
Look how strong he is.
Tiene fuerza y velocidad. Este es un crack.
Damn!
Against Valencia and then Ronaldo.
He was running. Running.
Plays there. Second
Now
bite.
bro, I think he's like power. He's like this power got stronger or some shit like his foot. Cause like his shit he wasn't kicking that bitch that fast, bro. In them other seasons, damn.
He started to decide matches on his own.
He's threatened every time he's had the ball. And he finds the net.
And Cristiano's talent exploded in both November and December of 2006 as he managed to win back-to-back Player of the Month award, a feat not achieved by any player since Bergkamp in '97 and Fowler in the 95-96 season. And he managed to score a brace in 3 matches in a row against Villa, Wigan and Reading.
Stop lining up.
Ronaldo has scored 2 goals.
A great example of his ability to decide matches came in an away match against Fulham in February of 2007. United were in danger of dropping points at Craven Cottage, but in the 88th minute, Cristiano stepped up and decided the match with a great solo effort.
But Ronaldo's away this time.
He's 3 up with it. Zaha goes to near post. Ronaldo goes for goal! And he scores the goal!
When you watch a player that scores these kinds of goals, and in the 88th minute, and under the pressure of Chelsea, then there is no doubt that you're watching a young player turning into a real star. After the match, United maintained their 6-point gap from Chelsea, as Cristiano continued his outstanding performances in the next months, as Mendes and the club agreed on extending Cristiano's contract until 2012, with a weekly wage that amounted to £119,000. In the Champions League, Cristiano and United were performing on a high level, as they scored 7 goals against Roma in the second leg of the quarterfinals. Cristiano managed to score a brace and assist another.
Surely sails it!
It was his first 2 goals in the Champions League.
His first goal in the Champions League proper!
United then faced Milan in the semi-league.
What that score was? 7-1. Please tell me that's like actually fake or something, right?
His first goal in the Champions League proper!
United then faced Milan in the semi-finals, and although Ronaldo managed to score a goal as the team won by 3-2 in the first leg, he struggled to put a stamp on the match. And when he played at the San Siro, Cristiano struggled again, as he started on the left and was under tight man marking from Gennaro Gattuso, as he failed to influence the match. as United lost by 3-0 and were out of the competition.
Damn, we ain't that far, dog.
And after Chelsea drew with Arsenal,
bugger.
Manchester United managed to seal their first Premier League title in 4 years. The clash with Mourinho and Chelsea was repeated in the FA Cup final. Ronaldo started the match on the left side, but the match was timid and mostly eventless, and saw a rare few chances.
Oh, you gotta kick it more harder.
It
You
was
had
decided
to.
by Drogba's winner in extra time.
That shit hella aggressive.
Oh my God, no.
Okay,
Right.
Cristiano produced
Yeah,
by far his best ever season. In his first 3 seasons with United, he played a total of 137 matches and scored 27 goals. In the season only, he managed to score 23 goals in 54 matches and with 24 assists.
Up
He was
every
named
every
Player of the
season.
Year and Young Player of the Year by the Professional Footballers Association in England. It's a feat not achieved since 1977 when Andy Gray won both awards. Cristiano managed to win everybody over. The media, the fans, and even the opposing players that voted for him. There was no doubt that Cristiano was now one of the best in Europe. The new season was expected to be a special one for Ronaldo. Without any international duties in the summer and with great reinforcements for United in the transfer window. But the season didn't start in the best possible way.
Dude, he looks like a badass
Started their
kid.
defense of the title with
He like a
He look
badass
mad as
kid.
freak,
He look
dog.
mad as...
You look mad as freak,
didn't
dog.
start in
Like
the
he
best
get his
possible
way.
way, as United started their defense of the title with 2 draws and a defeat, while Cristiano was sent off in the second league match against Portsmouth.
Cristiano Ronaldo, who's been sent off.
Ferguson's assistant, the Dutchman Rennie Mollenstein, took advantage of Cristiano's 3-match ban to introduce some new ideas for the Portuguese star and to analyze Cristiano's previous matches directly with him. Rennie first asked Ronaldo to set a target for the amount of goals he thinks he could score in the new season. Cristiano said that he can score between about 30 to 35 goals, whereas Rennie said that he can get up to 40 goals. Rennie then proceeded to show Cristiano the
Are they
tactics
talking about how much I made in one game, or?
of strikers and showed him footage of Dennis Law, George Best, Ruud van Nistelrooy, and Solskjaer. George Best was similar to Cristiano in terms of scoring outstanding goals, but the rest were more clinical strikers, scoring with 1 touch, scoring inside the box,
What the freak?
and of course, volleys. Cristiano was then assigned solo sessions to work on his visualization of goals, movements inside the box, choosing the best spots to score, runs, and other technical aspects. When Cristiano came back from his 3-match ban, he managed to surpass his goal tally from last season in January of the current season. Cristiano started scoring all kinds of goals, and he started acquiring a nose for goal.
He was
In
just
that
trying.
season, we saw several headers. When he scored his first header of the season against Wigan, it came as a surprise for Cristiano. In the same month, he scored another header, but this time with a better finish. But Cristiano was still surprised with himself. In the following month, Cristiano jumped to score a fantastic header against Blackburn. And this time, it was not a surprise. Headers were now a big part of Cristiano's arsenal of attributes. A match against Fulham in December showed his wide range of goals. The first came through a beautiful and instinctive volley, and the second goal came through a header any striker would be proud of.
He can't stop scoring.
In another match against Everton, we saw him cut from the right to the left and shoot with his weak foot from range.
That's crazy. It's a weak foot.
Can't do.
Ronaldo's huge development in the year 2007 earned him the second position in the Ballon d'Or rankings behind Kaká and just ahead of Messi. He was now very close to the top, but he still needed to win more titles, a title like the Champions League. And after Cristiano sealed the tie against Lyon in the round of 16, United faced Roma again. The first leg was pretty tough on United, and in the first half, Scholes lifted the ball up high as Ronaldo soared from far away to score a beautiful and important header.
What the fuck he come from?
As United passed this tough test and got to another semi-final in the Champions League, United then faced Barcelona, and it was the first official match between Cristiano and Messi. Carlos Queiroz suggested a change in tactics before the match for Cristiano, as the Portuguese started the tie as a striker, as Queiroz thought that Ronaldo would face issues in covering the right side of Barcelona, as they used Park Ji-sung to cover that right side and to specifically mark Messi. Ronaldo didn't like that change,
that nigga stopping Messi,
as he struggled for possession on the ball in the Camp Nou and missed an early and crucial penalty.
make that play.
He has missed.
The tie was difficult on both sides and was eventually decided by a long-range effort from Scholes in the return leg, as Manchester United got to their first Champions League final since 1999. In the league, Cristiano continued scoring goals as the race for the league title heated up and got all the way to the final day. United travelled to face Wigan, and Ronaldo got the chance to erase the memories of Barcelona as the Portuguese stepped up to take a crucial penalty in the title race.
As cool as you like.
United won by 2 goals, whereas Chelsea drew with Bolton as Cristiano lifted the new title.
Sustaining success is so hard, but so sweet.
A rematch of the title race happened in the Champions League final. Ronaldo played on the left side and was given freedom to roam and take advantage of his speed to take on the Blues' defense, which used Michael Essien as a right back. The match was expected to be difficult in general, as there was tight marking on Cristiano, and sometimes he was marked by 3 players, who were Essien, Ballack, and Joe Cole. In the past, Cristiano would have struggled, but with his development in the last few seasons, he managed to overcome the marking with his positive runs without the ball into the box. And with those movements, he managed to score a great header.
Ronaldo!
See, no one told him to start getting this high though. See,
He started jumping high as a bitch.
he first started doing his first header, and then he started acting the fuck up, wanting to jump higher and higher and shit. Like, relax, man.
After Lampard scored the equalizer, the match eventually went to a penalty shootout. And after 2 successful penalties for both sides, Cristiano stepped up to shoot.
Shimmy. And check has saved from Ronaldo of all people.
Fortunately for Ronaldo, Terry slipped on the crucial 5th penalty.
Boy, you so
Van der
too.
Sar managed to save Anelka's shot to help United lift the trophy.
English night in Europe.
Okay,
is
cut.
Manchester
Okay, the
United's
goalie
night.
hit him on the M's then.
And for Cristiano to lift the title that may hand him the Ballon d'Or. A double for Cristiano and another outstanding season for the Portuguese star, as he won the European Golden Boot
That's
Award after scoring 31 goals in the league and 42 goals
31?
overall.
Shit.
So you can't blame the fans for being excited for another season of Ronaldo. Carlos Queiroz mentioned to Ferguson in the past that if you manage to get 5 years out of Cristiano, then you've struck gold. There is no precedent for a Portuguese teenager to go to another country and stay for 5 years. There were some hints that pointed to Cristiano leaving, as he mentioned before the Champions League final that he dreams of playing in Spain. That's why it was expected that Ronaldo's 6th season with United will be a complicated one for management. But before all that, there was the Euros in the
Old as a
summer.
bitch.
Portugal came to the Euros and it was obvious that Cristiano was
I
now
swear,
the
bro,
main
was
man.
that not the? I thought that was Bertrand from Jesse.
The summer. Portugal came to the Euros and it was obvious that Cristiano was now the main man of the team, as he had joined captaincy along with his teammate Nuno Gomes. Portugal ended the group stages as
Who's the
group
thing wrapping
leaders,
around his-
but Cristiano and his
Wait, captain
teammates
guy.
faced the Germans in the next round. Bastian Schweinsteiger was the star of the match, while Cristiano's efforts were not enough, as Portugal crashed out of the tournament.
Germany are on their way to the semi-finals.
With all the rumors surrounding Ronaldo, Ferguson traveled to Portugal to sit with Cristiano in Carlos Queiroz's house. Long story short, Ferguson refused to sell Ronaldo to Real Madrid, especially after how their president Ramon Calderón dealt with the matter. For Sir Alex, it was a matter of maintaining his authority in the global stage. And Ferguson mentioned in his autobiography that if Ronaldo stayed for one more year and gave it his all, he promised him that if any club came with a record offer, he'll agree to sell. Cristiano agreed, and the matter was closed. Unfortunately for Cristiano and United, it was his weakest season when compared to his last 2 seasons at that time, as he had a niggling
These two
injury
is
since
left,
March
dog.
of 2008. The injury eventually got worse after the match against Germany in the Euros, and it was agreed
Why
that
this
he
nigga
needed
pie so
surgery.
damn big?
Got
Oh my fucking god! Please tell me that part of the injury, right? Or is that how big his freaking his thigh is, nigga.
That's how big his thigh is.
Oh my
the
fucking
match
gosh.
against Germany in the Euros, and it was agreed that he needed surgery on his ankle and was out of action for 6 whole weeks.
Damn.
Ronaldo came back in September, and his goal was cleared, ending the season in the best possible way to seal the Ballon d'Or. That's why he came back to the lineup and got back to scoring goals
That's
immediately.
his leg?
Start for 4 months. First goal of the season.
But with each goal he scored, especially in the beginning, it came with a subdued celebration, and he started to distance himself from his teammates. As Gary Neville said, he was very professional that whole season, but he was counting down the months until he could leave. Despite all that, Cristiano eventually got back to his best of forms and scored his 100th goal for United in November.
Cristiano Ronaldo brings up 100 goals
Oh my
for
God,
Manchester
my lord.
After a few weeks, the winner of the Ballon d'Or was announced in December, and there was no doubt that Cristiano was the most deserving of this award, as he won it by a big margin ahead of Lionel Messi in second and Fernando Torres in third. As Cristiano said, "This trophy is so important that I want to win it again. I'll wake up every day and say to myself, I have to keep improving." Cristiano then traveled to Japan to help United win another trophy, which was the Club World Cup. He managed to score a goal in a hectic semi-final
There it is. It is Ronaldo.
and handed an assist in the final. He came back to the Premier League and the Champions League to score some very crucial goals. A goal to seal the tie against Inter in the round of 16,
United heading for the quarterfinals.
an outrageous long-range effort to seal the tie against Porto in the quarterfinals,
Too far out for him.
Oh my God.
2 goals at the Emirates Stadium
Looking like
against
me.
Arsenal in the semi-finals.
Absolutely sensational.
He then proceeded to score a brace against both Villa and Spurs as United moved away in the title race and sealed the title in the last few weeks. Cristiano won the League Cup, and the Club World Cup. What was left was the second Champions League final in a row, as the tie against Barcelona and Messi was repeated again. Ronaldo made life hard for Victor Valdés in the opening minutes. Then Pep Guardiola changed the match when he pushed Eto'o to the right and Messi as a full striker, as Barcelona took over possession of the ball and managed to score 2 goals and eventually killed the match.
Oh, this one hit that one header. That was crazy. Messi got more holes than him.
ألغي اسم مانشستر وكتب اسم جديد لسيد أوروبا FC برشلونة.
All the indicators pointed to Cristiano playing in his last match for United, especially after Calderon stepped down and Perez took over the presidency of Real Madrid, as El Merreigui came with a record offer, and as Ferguson promised, he let Cristiano leave. A new page in Cristiano's story, as the Madrid fans,
Oh, she's gonna get shows.
Way back there, baby. Meet me later, baby.
he let Cristiano
Meet me
leave.
later.
A new page in Cristiano's story,
Crack.
as the Madrid
I
fans
didn't
stood
tore
at
off Spain,
Santiago
baby.
Bernabeu, excited to see the man brought to end Barcelona's reign of dominance and get Madrid back to being European champions. And for Cristiano, he finally got what he wanted after years of hard work and his strive to be the best. So what does the future hold for the Portuguese star?
That was a good ass video. Got a whole one about Messi in that bit. You know what I'm saying, bro, I ain't gonna cap, bro. That was a good video because like it showed like how he became like, you know what I'm saying, how he got better in levels he was at and shit. You know what I'm saying? Because I ain't gonna cap. He was at one point in time that nigga was like he was not that good as now, bro.
It's funny.
Oh God, he got way slower, way faster. He started knowing.
You talking about me or Ronaldo?
Bro, you not nowhere near that, right? But yeah, y'all, bro, that's it in the video. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, comment on the video, see, rest in peace, and all that, bro. 10K on the way, you know what I'm saying? Merch on the way.
Merch store coming real soon. What's today? The 29th is coming on the 1st.
Back. So we out.
Chucks with semi-suckler. Harlem turn the city up. Be wild and don't get any fucks. We block stars, they